45% of women will be single and childless by 2030. If this title is true, then it proves what I was talking about. They try to paint me as a misogynist, incel, problematic, toxic, gay, insecure, but I'm trying to talk about how they're trying to separate the family, and they don't want us to have kids. They don't want us to. They're separating gender roles, not for empowerment.
And welcome back to.
Let's see if it's true. Courtney Ryan, tell me.
Welcome back to my video. Single women. So I've done a lot of videos on my channel, or a handful of videos on my channel, about the rise of lonely single men, because it's something that's been covered by the media extensively. No surprise there. So 45% of women are expected to be single and childless by 2030, which is wild when you think about it. That's almost half of women. So I started doing research for this. And before I get into kind of the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to point out something that I thought was kind of funny. So I come across this article on Psychology Today called "The Rise of Empowered Single Women." And it's
so funny. When they talk about men, they say lonely, stupid incels. When they talk about women, empowered, single girl bosses.
It's a response article to the article about lonely single men. And I just pulled up both of those headlines, both of those, article titles, and I put them next to each other. And I just sat back and I looked at them for a minute. And I'm like, wow. It's kind of crazy that anytime in our society where, a man is single, it's automatically assumed
an incel. These are the tactics that they use to separate the family. Shame men, empower women. Just reverse the gender roles.
He's lonely, the rise of lonely single men. It's always men do better, men do this. I did a whole video reacting to that article. If you didn't watch that, be sure to go watch it so you guys can kind of see what I thought about it, because I don't think it's all men's fault, just to long story short here. But then anytime a woman is single nowadays, it's always the opposite. So it's the rise of empowered single women. It's always positioned more as a choice for women of like, oh, they're empowered, they're single, they're choosing to be that way because they're empowered. But for men, it always is painted in a light where it's like incels, or guys who just can't get women, or guys who need to step up and do better and do X, Y, and Z in order to, get one of these empowered single women to like them. And while of course it might be true for, some people, it's definitely not the reality for everyone. There are a lot of men who are happily single and a lot of women who are lonely as well. So I just thought it was kind of interesting how our society, paints men and women who are single in very different lights at this point in time. So if a man is single, it means he's lonely, and if a woman is single, it means she's empowered.
Girl boss queen.
Okay. So I wanted to read just a little bit of this article to you, just so you guys can kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about.
Read it to me.
It says, as a single person in her 30s, a therapist, and an author whose work centers around dating and healthy relationships, I am grateful for the culture shift towards healthier relationship standards that Madhouse described in his article. Until recently, modern dating has been imbalanced. Women have been socially programmed to believe their value and worth are conditional and reflected by their relationship status. Media, including dating self-help literature, has played a big part in this, encouraging women to change various aspects of themselves, personality, physical appearance, communication style, to be more desirable to men. Well, there's also a ton of content out there for men that's the same thing. In my work, I've seen this social programming impact women in their pursuit of dating and relationships time and time again, leading many to feel like they must play the game to be successful and find a mate. Of course, this outdated approach often leaves single women feeling hopeless and disempowered. But there's a shift occurring, and it's palpable, and this is not strictly an outcome of the surge of dating app usage. As women have gained more rights and are recognized as mostly equal to men, traditional gender roles and constructs are becoming obsolete. In the past, most women needed men for resources. They needed a provider. Now, with more opportunities, women have more independence and recognize they do not need a man in the same way.
Whoever wrote this article is extremely brainwashed.
That women did in previous generations. Without such high stakes, women are raising the bar. We are no longer looking for a provider, but a partner in an equitable relationship.
Equal.
We want more. Yeah, and I think this talk of healthy relationships is amazing. I am all about healthy relationships. That's what I do on this channel. I'm all about making dating a little happier and healthier. The article about lonely single men stated that women want men who are emotionally available, good communicators, and share similar values. And while those three things are yes, yes, and yes, I totally agree, that's not all that women want. And I don't think that we can sit here and lie to ourselves and say that those are the top three things that women are looking for, because those are three things on a checklist of a million other things. Over 6 feet, making 6 figures, or whatever number it is, handsome, A big thing that I think these articles fail to mention is the fact that these are not the only things that women care about, unfortunately. I wish it was. As a woman, I wish I could sit here and say the only 3 things women care about are a guy who is emotionally available, good communicators, and has good values and morals and shares whatever with her. But sadly, those are just 3 things on a checklist of many other things that women are looking for. And if a guy doesn't have the other things also, the woman probably wouldn't give him a chance. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't true, but sadly it is. These are the 10 things women want.
She's slowly getting red-pilled reading all these bot articles.
According to this lady, we want to be treated as equals, okay?
Bomboca! We are not equal.
We want to feel seen.
She would do great on Fresh and Fit.
And heard, okay? We want our feelings to be respected and validated. We want to feel safe and supported.
And you want a guy with 7 figures.
We want to share core values with our partners. We want to have the flexibility of having multiple identities instead of being confined to one box, wife, mom, or caregiver. We want to be a part of a conversation regarding negotiating roles and expectations within the relationship. We want to have productive and honest conversations and healthy disagreements. We want to establish mutual trust, and we want to feel emotionally connected to our partners. Okay. All fair asks to me, but sadly that's not what a lot of women want when they're looking for partners, and they're choosing men who are horrible. They're choosing men who are the most good looking, who are making the most money, so of course have more options, and treat women like crap.
Oh.
And then after they date the crappy guy, they're like, oh, well, all men
are
suck,
trash.
men are trash. I want a man who treats me right. Well, you're not giving the men who treat you right
a chance.
A chance. I wish it wasn't true. I really, really do. I wish with all my heart
Do you know how many
true.
states make up?
And are all women like that? Absolutely not. I have so many women in my life who are with incredible men. They did not go after them because of their salary or their looks. But now social media is just perpetuating this, like, well, I have to live this luxury lifestyle and go after these men.
She's talking about the same shit I talk about. The brainwashing, the same shit. But look at all the women here. Women just need a piano in the background. They need a fucking photo booth glow effect to listen up.
Who make all this money. So, you know, I am kind of happy that we're talking more about a healthy relationship and the things that should be included in that, because I think there's a big difference between standards and
Chat, would you? Would you?
preferences. Your preferences are the things like, oh yeah, I would prefer if he's taller. Oh yeah, I'd prefer if he was making more money. But those shouldn't necessarily be your standards. Your standards should be how someone treats you, right? It should be the emotionally available thing, good communication, shared similar values and interests. Those should be what the standards are, right? But a lot of time people will like forget their standards just to go after their preferences, which are the most attractive guys who make the most money, who, again, don't treat women that great.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Your job?